Welcome back, ladies, gents, non-binary friends. Today I come bearing bad news. I don't really see my birth country, South Africa, as a pageant powerhouse.
What? What the fuck?
Now, I know that since we've been doing so well at Miss Universe the past few years, that people are really starting to say that South Africa is a powerhouse country, but I'm here to burst your bubble because unfortunately, in my opinion, South Africa is not a pageant powerhouse country in the true sense of the word. So worldwide, there are many international pageants, but most people seem to view these following pageants as the top 4 pageants of the world. So we have Miss Universe and Miss World, which we know and love in South Africa. The Miss South Africa organization has held these licenses forever, so we definitely do okay at Miss Universe and Miss World, especially at Miss Universe recently. But then there's also Miss International and Miss Earth, which are also big pageants and part of the big 4. South Africa, unfortunately, does not do well at these pageants. And I think that plays into the fact that South Africa is not really a true powerhouse country. And then we also have to consider the fact that some people consider Miss Supranational nowadays as the 5th big pageant. I know that on Missology.com they portray the big 5, which is Miss Universe, Miss World, Miss International, Miss Earth, and Miss Supranational. And then personally, I also consider Miss Grand International a big pageant. Although, like, if Miss Supranational is like the cousin of the big 4, then Miss Grand International is like that weird uncle who you never want to invite to the braai, you know what I mean? But those are the big 6 pageants in my opinion, and South Africa only does well at 2 of them. Up until this day, where I'm filming this video, South Africa has only won 6 international pageant crowns. I mean, 6, that's major, but it's not nearly the amount of crowns that real pageant powerhouse countries have won. For example, the Philippines have won literally 16 crowns from the big 6, as I would like to call it, and that's 10 more than South Africa. South Africa has been doing well at Miss Supranational, however, since the Miss South Africa organization have gotten the license for Miss Supranational, you know, with Tatu, of course, recently getting that 2nd runner-up placement, as well as the fact that Jeanne Van Damme got the 4th runner-up placement at Miss Grand International last year. But I must add that concerning Miss Grand International and our 4th runner-up placement last year, I do think that was an outlier case. I think that was a case of Jeanne being exceptional and not the organization having the ability to produce exceptional contestants the way that the Miss South Africa organization has. Furthermore, I think that when it comes to being a pageant powerhouse country, consistency plays a huge role. So although South Africa has done super well at Miss Universe the past few years, you have to remember that South Africa hasn't been consistent at pageantry, you know, for a long time. We had a Miss World win in 1958, and then we had a Miss World and a Miss Universe in the 70s, and then only in the early 2010s we started to come back with Rolene, and then Demi, and then Tamaryn was amazing, and then of course Zozibini, of course, was incredible. But then we got a non-placement in 2020. I don't really think that signifies that South Africa is very consistent. Although right now we're doing super well, and I am extremely glad about that. I think that before South Africa has the audacity to call ourselves a pageant powerhouse country, we need to prove ourselves first and be consistent in literally all 6 of these pageants, because South Africa has competed at Miss Earth for a long time. I mean, we have a literal organization dedicated to Miss Earth, the Miss Earth South Africa organization, and we have no Miss Earth crown. So definitely I think South Africa needs to step it up in terms of being consistent across the board and not only have one organization, aka the Miss South Africa organization, bear the load of the entire country's expectation on their backs. I mean, look at the Philippines. I'm going to bring up the Philippines a lot because in my opinion they are a true powerhouse country. When it comes to the Philippines, okay, they have a lot of different organizations. So they have Miss Universe Philippines, they have Miss World Philippines, they have Bini-Bining Pilipinas, and all of these organizations are able to produce good quality contestants who regularly and continuously place or win. While South Africa does have an incredible organization in the Miss South Africa organization, and they do hold the licenses for 3 out of the 6 big pageants, there are other pageants in the world like Miss International and Miss Earth. I mean, I guess we can exclude Miss Grand International for now, but South Africa has to step it up at these other pageants before we can truly call ourselves a pageant powerhouse. And we need to really face the fact that South Africa is not a powerhouse in the true sense of the word right now. In my opinion, the truest and most blatant example of a pageant powerhouse country is Venezuela. Okay, Venezuela, we all know that they bring it and they give and they have given for the past 70 years in pageantry. Venezuela is the prime example of a pageant powerhouse country. Although they haven't won in a long time, they are still a powerhouse because they manage to consistently place very, very high and come very close to the crown. They have won 23 international titles from the big 4 pageants only. That's excluding, anything else. They have won 23 titles from Miss Universe, Miss World, Miss Earth, and Miss International over the past however decades. And speaking of decades, Venezuela is consistently good. They have won crowns in every single decade, which is unlike the Philippines, which won a bunch of crowns in the early days and in the 70s and then had a bit of a dry spell before they came back in the 2000s. And unlike South Africa, who also won in the 70s and then also had a dry spell before coming back in the early 2010s, Venezuela have won consistently over the decades. And if they do not win, they come very close to winning. And that is what makes them a powerhouse country, in my opinion. And of course, I'm not trying to bash South Africa. Of course, I am South African, so what would be the point of that? But I'm trying to educate because I don't think people truly understand what a powerhouse country is or what makes a country a powerhouse country. And it's going to take a lot more than 3 sporadic crowns and 5 years of, good placements and consistent placements at Miss Universe to make South Africa a powerhouse country. And yes, we've all been flying high on this success that we have had at Miss Universe and recently at Miss Supranational, as second runner-up placement and all of that. But we mustn't forget that, at the last edition of Miss World, we didn't even make it past the top 40. And I have no doubt that Shurifatu is going to do us really proud at this edition of Miss World. And this Miss South Africa organization have done amazing with their Miss Universe license, Miss World license, and most recently Miss Supranational license. But even though we've been doing amazing, and even though we've been, flying high on these placements and wins, South Africa is not a pageant powerhouse yet. We need to get that Miss International crown, we need to get that Miss Earth crown, and we need to start placing very high consistently all across the board. I know that I've probably pissed off some of you, but facts are facts. You can't argue with that. And let me know if I made you very angry. Please write me a very long, descriptive comment in the comment section because it helps with the algorithm. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.